Why your gut is called your second brain. The hidden connection between your gut and your mind, Part 2. Welcome back to Army. In the first part of today's journey, we discovered that your digestive system is home to hundreds of millions of neurons and trillions of microorganisms, all constantly communicating with your brain through an extraordinary network of nerves and chemical signals. But now comes an even more surprising question. Can the tiny organisms living inside your gut actually influence your mood? At first, the idea sounds impossible. How could bacteria, organisms so small that they are invisible to the naked eye, have any connection to emotions like happiness, anxiety, or sadness? For decades, scientists would probably have dismissed such an idea. Today, however, research from laboratories around the world has completely changed that perspective. The human gut is home to an incredibly diverse community of microorganisms, known as the gut microbiome. Each person carries a unique collection of bacteria, shaped by genetics, diet, environment, sleep, exercise, medications, and even the way they were born. In many ways, your microbiome is as unique as your fingerprint. These microbes are not passive passengers. They are constantly working. They help digest foods that our own bodies cannot break down. They produce vitamins. They train the immune system. They protect us from harmful bacteria. And perhaps most surprisingly, they produce chemicals that can influence the nervous system. Scientists now refer to this two-way communication as the gut-brain axis. It is one of the fastest-growing fields in modern medicine. Researchers have found that certain gut bacteria produce substances that affect neurotransmitters, including serotonin, dopamine, and gamma-aminobutyric acid, often called GABA. These chemicals help regulate mood, motivation, attention, and emotional balance. Although most of the serotonin produced in the gut does not travel directly into the brain, the gut influences the nervous system through multiple pathways, including the vagus nerve, the immune system, and hormones. In other words, the relationship is indirect but very real. One remarkable experiment helped scientists appreciate just how important this connection might be. Researchers raised mice in completely sterile environments where they had no gut bacteria at all. These animals behaved very differently from normal mice, with a wide range of health problems, including certain neurological and psychological conditions. They showed unusual responses to stress, changes in social behavior, and differences in brain development. When scientists introduced healthy gut microbes, some of these changes became less pronounced. Of course, humans are much more complex than mice. Animal studies do not prove that the same effects happen in people. However, they provide valuable clues about how closely the gut and brain may be connected. Researchers have also compared the gut microbiomes of healthy individuals with those of people experiencing conditions such as anxiety or depression. Some studies have found differences in the types and diversity of bacteria present. This does not mean that bacteria alone cause mental health conditions. Mental health is influenced by genetics, life experiences, environment, relationships, sleep, physical health, and many other factors. But scientists increasingly believe that the gut microbiome may be one important piece of a much larger puzzle. Another fascinating discovery involves inflammation. When harmful bacteria become too abundant or the balance of the microbiome is disrupted, the immune system may become more active. Long-lasting inflammation has been linked. Researchers are investigating whether maintaining a healthy gut microbiome could help reduce some forms of chronic inflammation. The answer is still being studied, but the early evidence is promising. Diet also plays an important role. Imagine feeding to different gardens. One receives water, sunlight, and healthy soil. The other receives almost nothing. Over time, the first garden flourishes while the second begins to struggle. A similar process may occur inside the gut. Foods rich in fiber, vegetables, fruits, beans, whole grains, and fermented foods provide nutrients that many beneficial bacteria can use. On the other hand, diets consistently low in fiber and high in highly processed foods may reduce microbial diversity in some people. Scientists often describe microbial diversity as a sign of a resilient ecosystem, just as forests with many different species are often better able to recover from change. A diverse gut microbiome may also be more stable. However, no single food can magically create a healthy microbiome overnight. The community inside your gut changes gradually through long-term lifestyle habits. Sleep matters. Exercise matters. Stress matters. What you eat matters. Even antibiotics, while often life-saving when used appropriately, can temporarily reduce both harmful and beneficial bacteria. Fortunately, in many cases, the microbiome begins recovering over time. Perhaps the most important lesson is this: the gut and brain are not separate systems working independently, they are partners. Every meal you eat, every night of sleep you get, every stressful day you experience, and every healthy habit you build may influence this remarkable conversation happening inside your body. And yet, despite thousands of published scientific papers, researchers believe they have only begun to understand this invisible world. There is still so much left to discover. Today we've learned that your gut is far more than a digestive organ. It is home to an entire ecosystem that communicates with your brain every moment of every day. But one final question remains. If the gut and brain are so deeply connected, what can we actually do to keep this relationship healthy? In the final part, Army will explore the everyday habits that support a healthy gut microbiome, separate scientific evidence from popular myths, and explain why taking care of your gut may also be one of the best things you can do for your brain. I'll see you in the final chapter of today's journey.